Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Tougies Take podcast. We are back again. It is us, the guys, the fellas, for another lovely week of following the sport of hockey. Mostly. I am joined alongside Mr. Endo Mills and Mr. Sin for the win, as we are back for what is our last full week together, gentlemen. We have today, probably Friday, because Thursday is American Thanksgiving. And then maybe next Monday, but certainly not the back half of next week, unless Sin wanted to make the full effort of going to the Sports Gamer offices to record a hockey podcast.
No.
We won't ask him to do that. But yeah, Sin is very, very close to returning to the promised land. But the good news is, buddy, we still have plenty of stuff to talk about before that. And just in general, so much to do. You and I especially. We started up with Sports Gamer today, just half an hour ago. We wrapped up the first broadcast of the season. That was very weird to be kind of back in the saddle on that after 5 months. It felt like a year, more so than 5 months. I mean, especially for me with how busy my freaking summer and fall happened to be so far. But it was good. It's good to be back in the old broadcasting booth.
Yes, it is. Good games, too, man. I mean, I love it. It was chaos.
I was going to say, what is, because Endo was watching as well. Because I hadn't seen anything from any other tournament or anything like that.
Yeah, same.
And what are your initial thoughts on competitive NHL 24? Or has it not really kind of set in yet?
What the fuck is a pressure system? The only time I saw that shit activate was during a power play. And like the one time when Yevgeny had the puck in the first period of the first game. After that, I barely saw anything happen.
So you're saying people overreacted to this thing. Yeah. And it's a skill issue.
It sounds like the game itself is just force heavy. And it still is. And the game was moving really, really fucking quick. I will say that. I'm not sure what it is, but for the past like 2, 3, 4 renditions of the game, it's just been going super quick. At the gate, like the actual hockey game is really, really fast, but at the same time, like certain mechanics were happening at the same time. Also, there was a weird gameplay tuner that came out halfway through like one of the games, and then like there was a big pause, which there is still no public answer as to what the actual tuner was for. Which is surprising. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine. He's doing his job perfectly fine. It's fine. Football games with everything else, but no community managing at this point. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to feel about esports in its current state, or competitive eShul in its current state.
There's been a lot of conversation about it, obviously, this week, especially the past week. You know, there have been some NA players that have joined some notable EU players in retirement from the competitive scene, just not really seeing it as the juice being worth the squeeze. It's been interesting to follow the NHL esports scene, especially since COVID and what it is now, ways that got better, ways that it didn't. Endo, I know we've talked about this. During 2020, Northern Arena, who are a pretty big esports company, essentially, held an event, and they have not returned whatsoever. You know, it's been it's been interesting to follow the scene. And it's funny because the Northern Arena thing, people were kind of talking about, you know, that event was going on when the George Floyd murder happened. And the response from some members in the community that got games, or the games were postponed, and they threw a hissy fit because games were postponed. And it's been a lot of conversation about the state of the game, the state of the community, so on and so forth, because it's all so intertwined. So I will say it's like how much that's been on my mind lately. Like, I enjoyed what Sin and I got to call today. I agree, the pressure system, I think people overreacted to it because very few teams, I think there were 3 or 4 examples in 4 games that we saw the full pressure system being activated and sustained. More often than not, teams are able to clear it very, very fast. And that's because a lot of teams still don't like to shoot the puck. They like to work it down low and then try to force middle. which has been the meta for a while. Maybe it's a little bit different on the NA side of things. I'm not sure at the moment. Like I said, I haven't watched too much. But yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot lately. It's just kind of the scene that it is. And it's like, okay, is the scene dwindling? And is that because of the community, the game? Both. Who's to say? But I do think from an an in-game on ice, in air quotes standpoint, it's not bad.
It was good.
Not bad.
I think it was the thing from at least the broadcast perspective is there was never really any dull moments.
Yeah,
that's the thing that fair. I noticed that and simply because they got rid of being able to collapse in your zone, you can't do it. You have to stay aggressive. You have to, and more teams are starting to forecheck to take advantage of turnovers, and it all has to do with that pressure, like the pressure system. And honestly, even if you don't get it activated fully, you're still doing good hockey things. And in that way, I think the competitive scene has the potential to be the best that it's ever been from a gameplay standpoint and from a mechanics standpoint. A few more tunes needed here and there. Hit check still needs to be nerfed into oblivion. And some more tuning to the pressure system a bit, maybe. But again, this is the highest level, and we didn't see the full pressure pop up that much. So, like, I would still like to see it get cleared easier. Like, just thinking back to, like, I'll just use what I play the most.
Oh, I think we lost Sin.
Yeah, we lost Sin. I think I get what he's trying to say though. If you make it go away quicker, games would be a lot faster. Like he said would be a pro as well too, and certain online things is the pressure zone itself, like the zone in which it activates and when it can be triggered is really, really weird. If you're playing online, and let's say for example, you have the puck in your own end and you get hit checked by 3 players on the opposing team while your puck's in your end and you have no pressure on you, that will still count as hitting the pressure zone. It's something that needs to be fixed and addressed. Or certain things happen, like if you make a play anywhere on the ice, it'll go towards your pressure, and it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird spot to be in for sure. We will continue on for the moment. I did just hear from Sin saying that he's not really sure what's going on internet wise or anything. So we can keep going from there. It's fine as opposed to kind of stopping us, and we'll see if Sin rejoins us because obviously he might not. So yeah, some good NHL 24 talk and conversation.
How was your week? How about that?
Yeah, that's
usually it's we ask how the week is, not usually how how the game you just commentated and career off and has been controversial to say the least over the past like month and a half. How was your week? The first full week of being married, I think. Second. Okay. I'm a good friend. Yes. I'm a good friend.
Okay. It's been good, man. Like obviously it's been weird to kind of get used to. I mean, obviously too. I've equated wearing this ring to feeling like there's a Band-Aid on my hand at like all times. I'm like, something's not right about this. What's up with this? But it's like, oh wait, something is right about this. Dude, it's been so difficult over the last couple of weeks to adapt to being back to like streaming. Like I only took like 10 days off or so, but it felt like months. Like it's been so difficult to kind of get back into the groove of the streaming thing. And it's like, when I left, it was, oh, hey, the NHL 24 patch is out. Maybe franchise is fixed. And the answer I thought was not really. But then I discovered, no, the biggest issue franchise has right now is that the rosters are just shit. Yeah. Because the other day on stream, we used Vassie's custom rosters, which have my highest recommendation if you're on an Xbox Series console. And a lot of the issues with franchise mode are fixed by utilizing custom rosters. Unfortunately, it's EA's shit standard for rosters that have kind of screwed that up. So it's one of those things now where I'm looking at probably roster editing for this year, which I wasn't expecting at all. So that was a pleasant surprise because I've honestly been missing that like more often than not. Like my nightly routine after I'm done streaming, is I go and see if the dog has to go out. I grab food. I sit at my computer while videos are rendering and just chill by watching YouTube and then fucking around on a game. So now having NHL roster editing to be like, okay, I'm fucking around roster editing, watching stuff on YouTube while waiting for videos to upload and shit like that. It's just really calming. As frustrating as it can be to see EA's bullshit, it's really calming. So I'm doing good. I mean, again, it's been a really, really busy time, and it's always busy, but busy isn't necessarily a bad thing, as I've discovered. So I am doing very well. How are you? And specifically, would you like to tell the class about what you told me about last night happened at hockey?
Oh, yeah. So I finally had one of those beer league horror stories happen. It was insane. I'm doing good. I'm doing a lot better than last night. Where I was elbowed in the back of the head because I played against a team that was absolutely insane. I had to go check my chat logs to see exactly what I told you from what I didn't tell you in your chat. So give me like good 5 seconds here. But while we're waiting for that, let's talk about our beautiful, lovely people. Manscaped. Look at that. Manscaped, Manscaped, promo code Tougie. Clean your balls, clean yourself, clean your sack. Tougie, take it away. I'm gonna get distracted by looking through your chat right now. Hold on.
You've already been, and that's okay. But yeah, as Endo mentioned, this podcast, as always, is brought to you by our lovely friends at manscaped.com, who want to remind you you can get 20% off your order and get free shipping when you use the code Tougie. That's TOUGIE at manscaped.com. They have a Black Friday sale going on as well. All the best deals from our lovely friends at Manscaped. And of course, just in time for the holiday season, they've launched their upgraded packages. We've gone from 4.0 to 5.0 performance package, the perfect package. They still have the Beard Hedger Pro Kit, of course, that continues to dominate the scene of well facially groomed men everywhere. Manscaped.com. They got you covered. And hey, holiday season's coming up. Give the gift of clean balls this holiday season. Endo, are you ready to continue your story?
Yes. So I pull up the stream. This is at 11 a.m. I pull up the stream. I'm on the train on the way home. God bless the TTC for actually being on time for once. And I say the M in Endurance M, which is my username, at Endurance M, stands for migraine after getting targeted by a WAP in his 40s, literal hate crime. Now, I can say that because I'm half Italian. And I fucking hate it. And I said, fucking hell, no wonder my dad left, which is funny. So what basically ended up happening is I ended up filling in for a game, for a team. And I guess the team that we were playing had a history of being really, really aggressive. Our team name was the Blazers, I believe. And the other team's name was the Gary Busey Express. Yeah. So they were the most aggressive, ransacked group of people who I've ever seen play hockey who also cannot skate at the same time. It was like a low D level hockey game. And, I'm someone who plays every level because I'm trying to make that sweet chat at the end of the day. That's all I care about at the end of the day, just making that money, because you can make a living off of just playing rental hockey in Toronto. I somehow do it. It's insane. Don't ask me how I started and getting into it. I've been doing it for 5 years. It's nuts. And they were getting super chippy and like finishing checks. And I'm like, I go to the ref. I says to the ref, hey, can you hit people in this league? Is there full contact? Like I need to know because I need to know if I'm going to go to the bench or not for a play. And the ref says, "Oh no, there's no full contact, but if there's no body checking, but there is contact." So like if you're scrumming in front of the net, like a tie-up scenario, that's fine. If you're on the boards trying to board play a guy and get the puck out from his legs and he's going to push against sports, that's fine.
Right.
I had seen that fucking team that we played against finish every single one of their plays with a hit. And every single time they got a fucking penalty, they were screaming at the ref. It was like, it was the literal antithesis of a beer league hockey team. That was just, it was just beer league. That is beer league. That team was completely beer league. So we get to the third period and their team's going crazy. One of our better guys has an empty net. He's getting down there and the guy's slashing at him, throwing at him, and grabbing on as much as possible. And then they're screaming for a penalty on our guy when the other guy's insinuating the penalty. We get the empty net. Either way, it would have been a goal, whatever. They're screaming at the ref. They're chirping. They're yelling. They're threatening him, of all things, too. Then they're like, what's going on? Just, there's 30 seconds left, whatever. They come sprinting down the other end. Like, not even skating, sprinting down. One guy loses a stick. One guy on your team loses a stick, and he starts to kick the puck. One guy on our team recovers the puck, throws it up to the side of the net. And then this giant dude blatantly goes like under the guy's skate, you know where the loop is underneath the skate and the blade on your skates.
Yeah,
fucking yeets him upwards. Like this man like Bobby Orred into the air off of getting stick lifted off of his legs. And then no call. I'm like, I just chill out and I'm like, all right, cool. They're gonna call it. No call. Guy without the stick kicks the puck to the front of the net. Now that same big guy tries to go and play for the puck to get a rebound in front, and then as he's falling down, he full on like elbow, like Hulk Hogan headlock, chicken winning me in the back of the head. I get hit. I drop to the ground. Now I don't sell calls. I never sell calls because I'm not a mark. But for shit like this, when you hit the goalie, when it's 5-3 and there's 30 fucking seconds left, and you're targeting the goalie for no reason, I'm gonna sell a little bit. Also, that shit did kind of hurt. I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. I go down. Ref goes, yeah, what's going? Hey, what happened? What happened there? I said, buddy fell down. But no, buddy, I didn't. Buddy fell down. Buddy fell onto me and drove his elbow into the back of my head. And then we're just like, what the fuck is going on? I get them going at you. I'm in the net. I'm a rental. I'm getting paid to be here. I don't know what's going on. This is ridiculous. And then I'm like, we have to work tomorrow morning. Like half of these guys, like all of them, like except me because I'm a fucking weird goalie guy. We all work in the morning. Like you don't have to hit a guy, especially a goalie, in the back of the fucking head when you're losing 5-3 in a beer league game. Like we're all in the same league here. Like no one's special. No one's crazy. Well, they're crazy. And then I go to the, shake hands with them and they act as if nothing fucking happened. And I go to the strips and say like, what's going on? Like, this is ridiculous. Then the rink guy who's cleaning up the rink. This is the last game of the night. Sorry, I'm taking so long for this story, but there's so much going on here. I talked to him like, you saw what happened, right? It's like, yeah, he's a piece of shit. I said, yeah, you're telling me he's a piece of shit. I just lived it, dude. Like, and his response was, this team is known for that kind of thing. And I said, well, doesn't the commissioner know? And then he points to the corner. Watching the entire fucking game from the sides is the fucking commissioner with a smile on his face. Now, I don't have a platform or anything whatsoever that, call people's actions and everything. But if you play in the Buckingham League that bases itself out of Chesswood Arena, Westwood Arena, and Scotiabank Pond, don't go somewhere else. Because if a goalie's getting hit in the back of the head from a team that's known to play dirty and really chippy when they're losing, and the commissioner's smiling over there, go take your money elsewhere. That team is not going to get suspended at all because they're friends with the commissioner. Also, there was one funny moment where we had a 5-on-4 and our team passed it over to a guy and gave him a direct breakaway. Like we're talking like my levels of Isho passing to the front, passing to the guy. But here's the best part about it. Not a single fucking person on our team back-checked. No, they all just stood there. I'm like, bro, what's going on here? and I make the save, and the puck goes back in the other end, and the guys in the corner are laughing. I just go like this, like, what? I'm like, what's going on? They're asleep? They're asleep over there? And they start laughing. Yeah, so anyway, it's a dull moment going up.
Tremendous. Oh, for more of Endo's exciting journey in the world of rent-a-goalies, stay tuned to the podcast because there will be more, I am sure. I always like hearing the stories that you have, and more often than not, I'm just like, oh, boy, playing beer league doesn't sound fun at all. Really.
So here's the part about it. I've played the various amounts of skates. When I say I play everything, I play everything. I've done the highest of highs of, letting down your childhood hero Thomas Caberlet because you let in the first shot on the first goal on the first shot. And then him literally seeing like the judgment in his eyes. And I played the lowest of lows, which is this game over here. A few months ago, there was an incident at Canland Sports York where there were a bunch of players just fucking swinging sticks like crazy in a beer league. That is what you typically see in lower level leagues because guys don't know how to skate and don't know what they're doing. You will see the craziest shit in D and E level. You will see, little scrums and everything here like happen in like C and D. And then when you get to like B and A, it's guys who know what they're doing. Guys who are clearly aware they've played hockey in some sort of level. I believe like the only A-level hockey we have in Toronto is out of DMHL, which is Downtown Men's Hockey League. I think maybe one of our 5 listeners in Toronto will like know what that is and go from there. But I've played like one game in that A league, and that's guys who are fresh from like junior. I'm not talking like the lower like bottom 6 guys. I'm talking like top 6, top 9 guys just buzzing out there, and it's a lot of fun to play in. And it's crazy because again, you'll see the craziest shit happen in the lower leagues. You'll see some like stuff happen in the middle leagues, and the high leagues there's like barely anything. But if there is anything, people like take exception to it. It's eye opening.
Professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, really quickly, I just saw Greg Wyshynski tweet something a few minutes ago. Totally unplanned topic from us, though. He mentioned, and to get onto the hockey topics here really quickly before we move away from them for a moment, the current plan for the 2025 World Cup of Hockey, which again, we had the World Cup of Hockey in 2016 in Toronto and haven't had one since.
Yep.
Which is insane. Which will not be called the World Cup of Hockey, by the way. But the current plan in 2025 is this. 4 national teams, US, Canada, Sweden, Finland.
So fuck
0
Latvia.
Russians.
And fuck Russia, I guess.
Well, fuck every country except for that, because that's the plan. It's 4 teams. No team North America 23 and under. No team rest of Europe. Just US, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. Next proper
just
World
do a
Cup
continental at that point. Do a continental. Like, that's the only option I can see them actually doing. But then there's too many players from too many regions and all that. Like, it makes no sense. Have US, Canada, North America. I'm not even gonna let you finish. I'm just gonna fucking jump into there. US, Canada, North America, and then you go Europe, and then go Asia. You have 6.
But no.
It's 5.
Have you considered no?
No, growing the game. No, let's black out all of the global series games, and then any sort of discourse you have about it, it's immediately shot with, "Whoa, have you considered piracy?" And it's like the whole point is to not have piracy.
Right.
We're just going on a different tangent and everything right now because that's usually how I flow and everything. We're gonna get back to the World Cup hockey in just a quick second. There is an analogy that CEO of Valve, Steam, Great Gabe Newell says, if you're the best way to combat piracy is to make your service better.
Mm-hmm.
So the NHL should be looking at, these blackouts and stuff and how many people have to go to all these websites and view their stuff illegally to get a full product. there are people who pay subscriptions for all these stuff who get blacked out games.
Right.
They are paying to watch hockey, and they can't watch it even though they've paid all the money in the world or the fee that's supposed to cost, and they get blacked out because it's not in your region. It is a global game. It should be able to be seen globally. This is the perfect opportunity to get people across the world to watch your game.
Right.
Same thing when they were in Australia. That was perfect. Have no region lock on it. It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's like region locking video games. If I buy a copy of a game that's in Europe, I should be able to play that copy on my console over here. It shouldn't be locked.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
I agree.
Anyways.
The funny thing is, because like the World Cup of hockey thing, it's just like, all right, it's stupid, nobody cares, right? But in terms of you segueing it to like, oh, hockey, I have Hulu TV, which is the package that also has ESPN Plus and Disney Plus, like all wrapped up into one, basically.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's crazy, all right. I mean, it helps because technically, like we get like somewhat of a discount on it because like the Disney Plus, a lot of it's, my wife uses it for work at school and everything.
Right.
Anyway, so I can watch any hockey game except the Bruins, unless yes. So I can watch any hockey game except the Bruins because those are blacked out unless they are nationally televised games on like ESPN or TNT. Otherwise, you need either a cable package that has the New England Sports Network, Nesson's own streaming service, or I think they're back on Fubo as a streaming service. This is an entirely different conversation just in regards to how fucking fragmented like television and streaming services have gotten to the point that we're just going to go back to everyone having cable because it's easier.
Hold on. Did you say Fubo? Wasn't that the fake thing that Bill Burr made a joke about with those golfing guys who tried to like get him off his game? There's a clip of it's like, oh, we have a podcast. It's like, oh, is it not Chubo? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not Chubo.
God, I gotta be honest for a second. I thought you were making a FUBU joke.
For us, by us?
Dude, I had FUBU shit growing up.
yeah, you fucking did. That's right. That's why you're my brother, man. Jesus.
Oh God.
Oh man.
Yeah, but that, like I said, that's an entirely different, like, expansive conversation on. So it's just how fucked up streaming services are because nobody could just let it be. Nope, we got to take shit, make our own streaming service, then keep jacking up the prices. And it's just, I feel sorry for people who keep like everything at once. What we'll do here is like, okay, this month's an HBO Max month. Let's watch stuff on HBO. Next month is a Netflix month. Let's watch stuff on Netflix and then cancel and then switch. That way we're constantly kind of rotating out and not paying for fucking everything all at once, essentially. Because that's the situation that we're all in right now.
Streaming is the new cable. And then it's like,
yeah,
it's hilarious.
Well, speaking of outdated things, we have a viewer question here to kick things off, allegedly. Supposed to kick things off for half an hour into the sumbitch. What is everyone's least favorite Christmas song? Now, I am literally, so I heard back from Sin. He has an outage in his area, restarted his router. It's still down. Said it'll be fixed by 6 p.m. So hours from now is the email alert that he was given. I'm going to ask him what his least favorite Christmas song is, and we'll see if he gets back to me with his answer. Do you have a least favorite Christmas song? Endo Mills. Endurance M.
I'm gonna go up Mariah Carey.
Ooh, just because
I Want for Christmas Is You. It's not even that. Like, it's, you know what? It's not. It is that. It is that. It is overplayed. I get it. It's a classic. It's, it's good, but at the same time, I just can't, man. The meme of her like de-thawing in like October. Like, I get it, but like,
Sin gave me his answer.
what?
Mariah Carey. Oh God. God.
But like the meme of it, like I get it, right? You know, it's gotten to the point that like the SCP like account is like, we try to contain her every year. She gets a way out. Like, we can't do this anymore. Like, it's just been a meme like that. It's something else.
God. I agree, like the overplayed nature. I can hear that song about 2 to 3 times throughout the holiday season before I'm just like, okay, enough. There's so many that get to be grating. I will say, oh God, which one? There's just I don't know, man.
Something from like Bing Crosby or something like that, or
right. Well, it's like there are like joke ones that people are like, oh, these suck, and I laugh at them. Like there's one called Dominic the Donkey, which I only learned about when I met my wife. And it's like, this is so bad it's good type of thing. There is also, by the way, a Christmas song by Bon Jovi named Backdoor Santa, which
excuse me, what? I never look directly into the camera. You know that's fucked up. You know that's fucked up when I look directly into the camera.
I need to make sure that's the thumbnail for this episode. You see, because he doesn't go down the chimney. He sneaks in the back door. There was also a Justin Bieber song, Drummer Boy, that had Busta Rhymes in it. Yeah. And I didn't need a Busta Rhymes Christmas song.
I just remember there was a fucking Bieber mistletoe song, whatever.
Yeah, that one too. God, that was trash.
You shoddy with you.
There was oh God, I remember this one too because it's like, oh my God, that was real. John Denver. You know, Country Roads, John Denver.
Really? Damn.
Put out a song called Please Daddy, in brackets, don't get drunk this Christmas.
Damn.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Oh, man. Jesus.
Oh, God.
Topical, by the way. Jesus. Sorry. Oh, I shouldn't joke about that kind of stuff. I apologize.
God.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked.
There's some bad ones.
100% Mariah Carey. Mariah, I know you make like 300% of your sales in December, November 1st, and all that stuff. Like, it's insane how much money she makes. She makes like $30 million a year just from the Christmas season.
Yeah.
I wish I did that.
Yeah.
You want to see me on this fucking podcast? No, you see me on a fucking yacht, bitch. On a fucking yacht. Let's go. No.
Well, funny you mention that, because you know who else you might see on a yacht sometime soon? Patrick Laine.
Oh, I was going to say KSI? Bitch, I know you see me in that Lamborghini.
La Lamborghini. Bitch, I know you see me. God. Oh, KSI. From screaming at FIFA to
screaming at
career and boxing.
What and a man. Scamming people with Prime bottles. Austin Matthews, signed by Prime.
Yeah. So to talk about
34,
hockey.
Prime number. Let's go. Sorry.
I mean, we do always joke that this isn't exactly a hockey podcast, so it's fine. The Columbus Blue Jackets the other night benched Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau in the third period late in the game, and then followed that up by scratching Patrick Laine outright.
Oh.
A quick reminder of the financials here. Johnny Gaudreau is getting paid $9.75 million for 5 more years after this. Line A is making $8.7 for 2 years after this. The Columbus Blue Jackets, Endo Mills, Endurance M. When is the last time the Columbus Blue Jackets won a hockey game?
Was this before or after the war? Which one? You'll have to find out. That's a bad joke. I don't know. It's probably been like the first 5 games of the season. And we've been too busy. And we've been too busy talking about how the Leafs are, while they're over 500, they're terrible and they should fire Sheldon Keefe into the sun. And Brad Living is a terrible GM and all that stuff. And then talking about how San Jose is San Jose. Sorry, Sin. Is it literally the first 5 games?
So not that far back. Their last win was on November 2nd against Tampa. Since then, they have lost 9 games in a row. Now, what gets me about this is that there was a Jackets fan on Reddit who had a thread up saying, now look, I know we were supposed to suck this year. No. You do not get to say,
you're supposed to be good. You have Johnny Gaudreau, you have Patrick Laine, you have Adam Fantilli, you have Zach Werenski, you have.
They traded for Provorov. They traded for Severson.
Oh yeah, I don't Provorov. I mean, he's a good hockey player. Severson, you have a good lineup. That's like the Habs saying consistently year after year. Well, especially this year, being like, "Oh, our players are injured. We weren't going to be good." Beginning of the first year of the season, they're like, "Yeah, Kirby, Doc, and all that shit." Like, you can rewrite stuff. But at the same time, like, stick to a narrative. If you're gonna be suck this year, be suck from the beginning. San Jose. If you're not gonna be suck, don't be suck this year. Boston. I don't understand. I do understand, but fan bases who don't understand that, switching up from an identity when a team isn't necessarily there, or they're at different. Viewing a team at a different viewpoint than when it's actually supposed to be at is probably the death of being a sports fan. I think that also applies again to the Leafs. It applies to every franchise, especially those who see stuff kind of short-sightedly, as in this situation where they're like, "Oh, you know what? Hear me out. We're supposed to be bad this year." It's like, I just listed 7 key players that put up a lineup which could carry you guys to a berth. Also, Adam Fantilli's a rookie, and he's doing pretty good things for a goddamn rookie. Okay? Like, the future is great, but at the same time, you have to live in the present. And if your players who are in the present aren't activating, there's something wrong. And it shows that it wasn't a Babcock thing, because Babcock already saw his way out by, doing things he really should have, when asking for phones and putting them on the air tag, And sometimes maybe your brother.
It just reminds me of Ray Hill's Babcock impression from the season preview.
And sometimes even your brother comes in like, that killed me.
Oh God. Yeah, that whole thought of like, oh, they were supposed to be bad though. It's like, no, they weren't. The whole narrative about the Blue Jackets is injuries are the reason why they kind of struggled last year. And now this was the year, like, okay, they're going to get back on track and good things are going to happen. And bad things have happened so far. So now people are like, oh, well, they weren't supposed to be good. They absolutely were supposed to be better than this. There is no doubt about that. And yeah, it has been very, very bad. They are at the bottom of the Metropolitan Division. They are the 3rd worst team in the league by points percentage, only above Chicago and San Jose. Do not try to change the narrative now. there were higher expectations than this, and it's bad. It's bad. For as much as the kind of conversations happen with Calgary about like, oh, okay, what's next and who's going to get traded, whatever. Now in Columbus, the whole talk as well as Goodrow. What you can't even move Goodrow, but is Line going to get dealt? Like, what's that going to look like? And it's it's fun. That's what it is. It's a fun time. Unless you're a Blue Jackets fan.
Yeah, that's the best way to summarize it. Jesus.
So we will continue to follow along with that. And, he's a really nice guy. I like him. Follow Nasher on Twitter. It's a good time to see him just to have his mind break by the total ineptitude of the Columbus Blue Jackets, because it has been very, very bad. I mean, the last game Line played in, he had made the comment. The second line for them that game was Goodrow, Line at center, and Matthew Olivier on the right wing.
Noted enforcer.
Rarely.
Rarely. Oh man, that's funny.
Sake.
I even tweeted that out when he got into a fight. I'm like, yeah, I wonder what his fighting rating in the NHL is. It's not good. It's not
fixed it. They fixed it, but only after he laughed in their faces when he was at EA Studios, which is always what you want.
Missing tooth and all. Just, you think I fight? He says here rarely. He's like, ha 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 ha. Points.
So another topic that we have that I wanted to get your opinion on, actually, given the whole goalie thing. There was some controversy in an Anaheim Ducks Florida Panthers game where the conversation coming out of it was, did the puck fully cross the line on a Jakob Silfverberg attempt? My immediate thought after this was, one, you can debate whether or not you thought it was in, thought it wasn't, whatever. How are we still here? 2004, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final. Calgary Flames fans remember it well. The puck was in. Or was it? The parallax angle. So on and so forth. Dude, that is 20 years ago this season. 20 fucking years ago. And we are still having the conversation over whether or not the puck was in or not. You have the technology. The fuck aren't we using it? I'm so sick and tired of this conversation. I just don't understand it.
I'm sorry if I'm laughing. The way you're like, was it in? I don't know. First thought was Forsyth Hogan. Was the puck in, brother? I don't know. Maybe it was. I'll never tell, brother.
God.
He's in the situation room in Toronto, just like, Hogan, was the puck in? Oh, I don't know, brother.
Stones may sink and the rocks may fall, brother, but I know that puck was not in, or was it?
Sorry.
Like, the thing is, though, it's like the NFL at this stage, for all their faults, they are at least trying to improve things like this, in my opinion. Like the pylons and everything now have so much fucking tech in them that you can see the fans to keep the tech inside the pylons cool. And not from like a visual standpoint, but from a fucking temperature standpoint. Like, that's how much tech they're putting into the fucking pylons. Why the hell do we not have proper goal line tech in hockey? I mean, I get what people are like, oh, you can't just put a chip in the middle and then if it
you can put a chip in the puck. They already do that.
Puck. Right, exactly. That's how you know Philip Ronick hit a 107-mile-an-hour shot in a game.
Yeah.
For me, it's just that idea of like, you have the technology to put enough sensors in the puck without affecting the puck to know whether or not it is fully crossed the line. You cannot tell me that we could send people to the fucking moon 50 years ago with less technology in your fucking microwave today, but the NHL, oh, it doesn't exist, the technology to tell if the puck fully crossed the goal line. You're out of your fucking mind. Like, it does exist. It's just, what is it? Is it laziness because they like these conversations to happen because it's engagement and they subscribe to all press is good press? I don't know. But it's fucking stupid. And it's a matter of time until we get into a playoff situation again where we have to hear all about the parallax angle. We get into a Stanley Cup final situation where we have to hear about the parallax angle. It's like, that doesn't make your sport good. The NFL is not more popular because the New Orleans Saints were involved in the fucking pass interference thing 5 years ago. Like, that's not a thing. Negative press for sports doesn't make someone go, oh, I should watch that. It makes them go, LOL, Bush League. It's just not a real league, not a real sport. Like, that's where those fucking comments come from. It's the stupidity of league, sexism, and racism. Those are the three causes of not a real sport comments on social media. I don't have an answer as to whether or not the puck was in or not because they don't fucking know themselves. And honestly, though, they might, because apparently there are camera angles that they have access to that they don't put on broadcast, which is also fucking stupid.
Yeah.
With your fucking 720p cameras that you have that you do provide for the broadcast.
I am shocked that there still isn't like a 4K native feed for sports.
I'm not. I mean, I am, but I'm not, because of course not.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I guess because like 4K still isn't the standard. Like 1080p is still like the standard right now, and I give it like maybe 3 to 4 years where 1440p takes over. Because like they've phased out 720 as high definition. It's like standard definition now, which is crazy. Like 2 years ago they phased it out. And we're like, hey, yeah, 720 is like just standard. It's fine. But yeah, to put a microchip in a puck, you already have that tech there. Putting in a VAR system, I'm not going to say, oh, it's not a lot of work. It probably is work to put it in, have it set up and everything. But it's almost as if, similar to baseball, human error is based in the actual sport. Like, even when it comes to questionable calls, DOPS not usually getting the right calls. They've been somewhat consistent so far this year. A little bit at the beginning, maybe they're kind of dwindling off a little bit. We haven't had any real situations happen as of late, so we can kind of base that off of on ice conduct, not off ice. But yeah, I think it's just from human error being baked into the sport.
Now, one of the other things we were going to talk about were the Sharks. And we were going to let Sin go on his victory lap because the Sharks beat the hell out of the St. Louis Blues over the past few days. And there was the stat line that 27.8% of the Sharks' even strength goals were scored against the Blues, 5
Jesus
of their
Christ.
18. There was also a chart that I had seen from Data Driven Hockey that showcased that the Sharks have the some of the worst stats basically out there. There's really no other way to put it. In terms of team shot quality versus volume, the Sharks have the lowest shot quality and the lowest shot volume, meaning they take the least amount of shots and they take the lowest quality shots, as opposed to a team like Carolina that takes a low amount of quality shots, but they throw a lot of pucks on net. You have some teams that do both, obviously. Right. However, the Sharks also, in terms of quality shots and high volume against, allow the most. So they are taking the least high quality chances and the least amount of shots, while surrendering the highest quality of chances and the most shots at the same time. I know they're getting some wins here and there. I don't think they'll be historically bad. Maybe era adjusted, they will be historically bad. They suck so badly. Sin would be the one to find the more kind of positive outlooks to that. Although I did find one and it was Bleacher Report that put out a graphic for under the radar players at the start of a season, and they did one for every single team. And I was going to go over at least the players from our favorite teams.
Yeah.
And we'll start off with the Sharks. They said that the San Jose Sharks' most under the radar player so far this season has been Fabian Zetterlund. And that I would probably agree with. He is the second highest scorer on the team, only behind Tomas Hertl. So from a statistical standpoint, you can understand that because the name value isn't quite there. Otherwise, I'm not really sure who you would pick. Maybe a William Eklund type. I mean, there really aren't that many options on the Sharks. For the Bruins, the sweet, beautiful Bruins, their selection was James Van Riemsdyk, which I have to be honest, is correct. JVR has 12 points in 16 games, only behind Marchand, Zacha, who's on the top line, Pasternak, and Charlie Coyle. He has brought a lot more to the lineup than I would have suspected. And the Leafs selection, Kalle Jarnkrok, who has 9 points in 17 games. He is tied in points with Max Domi, Matthew Nyes, and trails only Matthews, Marner, Tavares, William frickin' Nylander, who we'll talk about in a minute, and Morgan Riley. For our three teams, at least, I feel like they kind of nailed it for the under-the-radar options. You could argue, for other teams, maybe, did they get it right or did they get it wrong? But for the most part, that is a chonky cat.
Oh, Muffin? Yeah. She's a little fat, so I think we told this story of how we found her. I'm pretty sure she has fucking pica. Polina can probably confirm nor deny that statement because you do not get that fat without eating, okay?
It's true.
Unless you have a genetic disorder, that's completely different, but I highly doubt that. Okay. Yeah.
It's chunky cat.
Quote, she's just a chunky baby from Polina.
There you go.
Yeah, just chunky.
Yeah. I don't really have too much else to add in regards to like the Sharks or anything like that because there isn't anything to add really. But because again, that was a sin topic, but I at least tried to find a positive for the Sharks, and that is that Fabian Zetterlund, he's okay. So that's good.
No, you're not getting the hat. Okay, fine, you're getting the hat. Sorry, this is her hat that I stole from her when we first started going out.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute. I don't know where she got it from, and so I can't get my own. So I have to like reverse engineer this hat and get it my own. So until then, we have to share it. No, we don't have head lice. Catch.
Well, I mean, even if you did, it would only affect you too, and you already live together. So
exactly. All right, bye.
Go. Home Alone, Endo Mills,
and the cat, She'll eat me.
Oh yeah, that's one of those cats where it's like, oh man, your dog just like lays beside you and is all bummed out, but the cat will eat you. Your cat would eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just looking right now for that fucking mouse. I think I talked about it on the podcast. I'm not really sure, but yeah, we just randomly had a mouse one day. Because living in a basement and it's the winter, so they're trying to come indoors. Kana said that they'd send me some of their skin. Oh my god. They have a snake named Noodles or Nudes. And so Kana's like, I'll send you some of Nudes skin. I'm like, oh, okay, that's one way to say it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kana, you're the best.
Phrasing. Couple other things really quickly here too as we kind of get through our list of stuff. The Winter Classic jerseys.
Oh man,
that were leaked by the Utah Jazz and AEW.
All Elite Wrestling, I love it.
Of all the places to leak the Vegas Golden Knights jersey. It was on the pre-show of AEW's pay-per-view this past Saturday. Your thoughts on said jerseys? Because I don't feel like the Kraken jersey is that bad, because they are very clearly going with like the Seattle Metropolitans vibe. The Vegas Golden Knights, though.
The fuck are they going for? I have no idea.
I'm looking at the jersey right now, and I do think it is salvageable should you have the right equipment to go with it. But at the same time, at a base level, it's just not good. It's so plain, I feel like, is the best way to describe it. There's just so much like empty space on the jersey. I'm with most people on this. That's not an immediate win for me. Honestly, the Kraken jersey isn't one that I'd probably get either, realistically. Yeah. There have been better uniform sets, but it's funny because Sin and I were talking before his internet went out about the idea of like, because we had a viewer question in regards to like, what teams would you want to see play an outdoor game at this point? And there's conversations about like global series games and where that could go, and like Mexico City and Germany. I got to be honest though, in terms of stuff like that, I don't care. Like, we've been seeing outdoor games in the NHL for 15 years consistently. It's still fun, but the uniqueness is worn off. The uniqueness wore off almost a decade ago when they said, hey, the Winter Classic, we're going to add the Stadium Series too, and then we're going to bring back the Heritage Classic. Like, they've beaten the concept to death, but it still does relatively well. Global Series, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know, man, where do people like hockey? Go there. Simple. People in Sweden love hockey. Go to Sweden. And apparently that went pretty well. So it's just one of those things I don't care about all that much. And even less so the idea of the jerseys. But yeah, the Golden Knights and the Kraken, it could have been better.
Yeah, I'm looking up on sportslogos .net where they talk about it, about the reveal and everything. Basically largely underwhelming. Yeah, it is pretty underwhelming. Quote, the overall idea is a faux back to the 1910s to a hypothetical Las Vegas-based team to match with the Kraken with 1910 Metropolitans. So it's basically inventing history for it.
Yeah.
I don't like that. If you have to invent history for a franchise, you shouldn't have them in an event where it requires history.
Yeah.
I get like their whole deal was like, in a certain amount of years, you'll get an all-star game, and then you'll get special events and all this stuff. It makes more sense for them to be in a Stadium Series game because they can play up with the whole idea of being a Golden Knight on their jerseys. Because the Stadium Series games, you're a lot more creative. You're a lot more modernizing and everything like that. I mean, jerseys are already pretty modern, but, they take more of, I want to say minimalistic kind of approach to those designs of the jerseys. But you could do so many things with a Stadium Series Golden Knights jersey. Just the idea in my head is like second to none, something crazy. You could have something where it's like all sublimated on there instead, and excuse me, have certain things pop out with the stitching as well.
Right.
I just think this is a big. I want to give the NHL an F here, but they usually take Fs anyways. But just I don't like it. Seattle one makes sense. They have history with the Metropolitans, and with the Millionaires with Vancouver as well, because they're kind of related, and like all stuff like that. That makes sense. Vegas, it doesn't make any sense.
It's true. It's true. No other way to put it. It's funny though, because all the talk about the Stadium Series, Global Series, stuff like that kind of leads us to the last kind of bigger topic that we have, which is the Toronto Maple Leafs, who've had a very successful trip over to Sweden.
Yes.
They debuted blue helmets on white jerseys because the NHL changed that rule.
It looks really good, and they should keep it like that.
I don't mind it. I'm indifferent, so I'm not offended by it. I do think it probably like so the reason why I'm like yes, this is essentially because I really like the idea of being able to mix up jerseys just a little bit more in case of like color clashes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, I'd never want to watch Tampa and Toronto play in the playoffs again with how similar the jerseys are.
Yeah. I
So
could see
anything
them
that
doing
allows
something
for
where
creativity, I'm good.
yeah, I could see them doing something where the Leafs were the next gen games jerseys in some games or anything like that have the black contrasting. One thing I want to see them do is because those next gen game jerseys they're reversible because they're the partnership jerseys with I believe it's Justin Bieber's brand or the brand affiliate with Justin Bieber drew. And the yellow part of the jersey looks pretty sick. I would love to see them wear that in the game, but unfortunately, I don't think they can because of the NHL being the NHL.
With the Super Mario leaf on the front of it, it's got the two little eyes.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah.
I like it.
So there's no great way to segue into talking about this for Leafs fans. William Nylander has scored in every single game, or not every single. He's put up a point in every single game so far.
Every single game.
Before the season, I think he would have been looking at $8-9 million. It's probably over 10 now. I've seen some people say 11. Your confidence in 27 points in 17 games, William Nylander being a Toronto Maple Leaf next season.
Yes.
You think it's going to happen?
I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to stay, and he's going to take a discount.
Mm.
Why do you think he's going to stay and take a discount?
Just like all the others that have taken
Just like all the others. I don't know. I mean, Matthews earned his money. He took a little bit. I think the Matthews contract could have been a little bit more. He only made like $2 million extra? Like,
yeah, he's at 11.6. The shock that it wasn't over 12 million is still there.
Mm-hmm. I think the one problem is Treliving fucked up by not signing the deal before they left for Sweden. Because putting up 5 points and having the overtime winner in your home country, not only is that like huge, it was to the point where he had the puck. I was watching the game. He scores that goal. I'm screaming. He's so good. Like I was sitting on my computer. He hits the goal. I'm like, he's so good. And then I'm just like, we're not gonna be able to keep him. But then I kind of thought about it. I kind of like really sat down and kind of like pondered and thought for once in my life and figured that, he's a very low maintenance guy.
Yeah.
Lives in Toronto.
Takes the subway.
Millionaire. Takes the subway. People were like, wow. What was it? Nylander's dad also takes a subway. I'm like, they're Nordic. Their subway system is perfect. Nearly perfect. I mean, I haven't gone there myself, but I've heard from countless other people saying like their subway service is good. It's not even good. It's great. Because good is it functions. Great is it gets you there on time. You don't have to worry about anything.
So, I got to be honest. I do think the Leafs find a way to keep Nylander because they have 5.5 of Bertuzzi up at the end of the year, 3 million of Max Domi, 5 million of TJ Brody, John Klingberg's 4.1. Nylander's making 7 now. You have space at the end of this year to up him to 10 million bucks. You do.
Yeah.
Does that necessarily solve certain issues? No, maybe not. But at the same time, Tyler Bertuzzi has 8 points in 17 games. He's been better in the past couple games, but not amazing. That money that you're spending on Bertuzzi, on Domi, on Klingberg, sounds like fucking Rudolph. On Bertuzzi, on Domi, on Klingberg. How much worse are you actually going to be by giving those spots to the younger fucking guys or to guys that will actually take pay cuts to stay there? How much worse are they? Like, Bobby McMahon has 2 points in 3 games so far this season on this fucking Sweden trip.
I fucking love Bobby McMahon. I will say that. If any like person who watches Marley games, Bobby McMahon is literally the McMahon. It's him and Alex Steves. They are absolutely tearing it up right now. Alex Steves, as of this recording of this podcast, Alex Steves has 18 points in 14 games. Pretty good worse? For a guy.
That is good. How much worse are the Leafs going to be relying on Pontus Holmberg, Bobby McMahon, Alex Steves, whoever else, overpaying the money for the guys that they've paid for that, at least so far, have only been like solid additions. They haven't been anything too crazy. It's certainly not worth the money in a lot of ways that they're getting paid at this stage.
Yep.
You don't lose William Nylander. You know, at this stage, you deal with the consequences of it. It's like the guy, even John Tavares has 19 points in 17 games this year. Like, he's still not worth $11 million, but it's not looking like as disastrous of a contract.
The kale. Yeah, it's the kale. I don't know what it is, but like his diet, he changed up. He's a big kale guy, kind of like how what was it? Nathan McKinnon just loved the fuck out of carbs during their playoff run. Like, guys are eating pasta and nothing else. I don't give a damn. You're taking care of your health. You're gonna eat my diet. It's like, yeah, it's a leader. That's what he does, and he won a cup.
Like, leading by carbs.
Yes,
the way to do it.
Yeah, like I don't know what else to say. One thing I will say is the discourse around the Toronto Maple Leafs is that the core four. I don't know, like, I think Treliving hasn't acknowledged it as the core four, and I applaud him for that. Because the minute that became an identity and a talking point for the media in Toronto to say, oh, the core four, it was a disaster. Because every single movement that happened, if those 4 players were not being excellent every single night in, night out, you would hear it 100%. If one of those 4 players had an off night, you would hear it forever and ever and ever. And now it's flipped onto the opposite, where it's the bottom 6 is not scoring and your defense are not making any points unless their name is Morgan Riley.
Right.
There is no depth in the defensive scoring aspects. Well, that's what happens when you bring in guys who necessarily don't fit the system, or you try to change the system a little bit to be more offensive minded, but you already have guys in the system who can do all that. You needed to bring in defense. Notice how well the Leafs are playing with Ryan Reeves not in the lineup. I don't even hate Ryan Reeves, but to pay him basically like 1.3 for the next 3 years, this year, next year, and the year after that, to have him sit in there, be a locker room guy, that's a little expensive, in my opinion. He has a really good fucking agent. He is a really good agent. Hats off to his agent for making that deal happen, because he got paid, and I'm pretty sure that's guaranteed money if he gets sent down to the A as well. And if he gets sent down to the A's, it's
one-way deal.
It's beautiful.
Yep. Shout out to Ryan Reeves' agent in general. Former 5th-round pick that has over $17 million in estimated career earnings.
Yeah,
good shit.
Really smart. That's a good agent. If I was a player, I'd make sure my agent is paid well.
So we have one more topic of conversation for today, unless there is anything that you wanted to add. I don't know if we have another edition of Endo's Respect Whammon corner. I don't know. Do you have anything else that we didn't talk about?
The PWHL is making me really, really hard to respect Whammon in sports. Now, let me preface this. I love women's hockey. My mother is a goaltender who had potential to play for a national level. Okay.
You're going to say my mother is a woman?
My mother is a woman. That's why I respect women. I mean, I hope she's a woman. I mean, if she isn't, who cares anymore? And at this point, I love her unconditionally. Here is what we call the optional PWHL update. So today, the GM, the general manager of the PWHL Minnesota team, because they don't have a fucking name yet, Natalie Darwitz, was quoted as to say, after talking about her training camp for the PWHL Montreal team, Minnesota team, excuse me, God. It was a memorable week for the state of hockey as the inaugural training camp opened for Minnesota's first professional hockey team. Now, this post has been taken down by PWHL Minnesota. But the one thing to note of this is that Natalie Darwitz is a former Minnesota Whitecaps alumni who played with the team when they were part of the NWHL and I believe the PHF as well. Now, why is this notable at all? The governing body that owns the PWHL and the PWHPA, again, bought out the PHF less than 5 months ago. And it's basically been seeming at every single point that they can, they're just trying to rewrite history, which is really funny considering the Minnesota Whitecaps are the only women's hockey league team in North America to win both the Isobel Cup and the Clarkson Cup. The first one was a part of one league and the other part was a part of another. I believe that was part of the WWHL, which then went on to be the CWHL. And this one is a part of the PHF, well, NWHL, as it was called back then. Now, another thing about this is that WOHO, which is the term for women's hockey that people have generated online, the fan base is disappointed in that PHL basically trying to rewrite history. And again, the post has been deleted now. I don't know what is going on. It just seems like they're just, again, at any given point that they can, they're trying to negate talking about the PHF in any sort of positive light. I don't understand it. I never will. And yeah, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that they're going this low to essentially try and rewrite history.
I mean, it's very WWE. We invented the history of this. There was no history before this. We started it. We invent like literally people made that joke in WWE less than 10 years ago when it was the whole idea of like after shows like Women's Revolution was trending because people were tired of their women's division being booked like it was 1999 still. And it led to the joke of like Stephanie McMahon would come out there and talk in a way where it's like Stephanie McMahon, inventor of women. And that's kind of what the PWHL feels like it's doing. The PWHL, inventor of women's hockey. As if there isn't this 20 plus year history at this point of, you know, we made a video about the freaking Nagano Olympics in 98 where women's hockey was there for the first time. Like, it's not as if this just fucking started and it's been like in the last 5 months, let alone 5 years. I mean,
I just realized something.
What's that?
I just realized my mom didn't get sick. She could have been played in the. I realized my mom didn't get. Okay, so my mom played hockey. Like I already talked about this before. She would get like really, really sick. I think maybe it's probably concussion related. And she basically had to like stop playing because she would get motion sick and all that stuff while playing. Well, when I say she was good, she was a good goalie. She was very, very well. She was a good goalie. And to think that like around the time she stopped playing, she was getting opportunities to play. And if she didn't get sick, there was a high probability chance that she could have played in Nagano. That's weird to consider now, like 25, 30 years later.
Yeah. What's to say?
Damn.
Our last thing to talk about is a shitty fucking thing to have to talk about, but it was probably the biggest story over the weekend in the world of hockey. And of course, it's something that took place off the ice. I've debated how much detail it's worth going into because the detail is rough. And I will say to anybody that is, a little bit more sensitive, I would say, to incidents of domestic violence and such, we thank you for listening to the show. You can skip the rest of this one. Catch Endo on Twitter at EnduranceM, and I am everywhere at Tougie24. Sim for the Win Prod, Sim for the Win Productions. You know the whole deal at this point. Thank you so much.
Donate to the Movember campaign. Do that as well too.
That too. Link is still in the description.
Yeah.
Milan Lucic was arrested over the weekend. And is now taking what is being called a indefinite absence from the Boston Bruins as a result. He is scheduled to be arraigned in a Massachusetts court on Tuesday on a charge of assault and battery against a family member. Lucic, 35, was arrested by Boston police in the early morning hours of November 18th after a domestic incident. A 911 call was made on Friday night, saying that Lucic attempted to choke his wife after a verbal argument turned physical. According to a copy of the police report obtained by the Boston Globe, Lucic allegedly pulled his wife's hair, and police observed redness on her chest area. She stated that she attempted to walk away from her husband and stated that her husband grabbed her by the hair and pulled her backwards. In doing so, the suspect stated that she was not going anywhere. Police also wrote that Lucic appeared to be intoxicated when he answered the door and stated that nothing happened and provided no explanation for the incident. When told that he was going to be arrested for domestic violence, officers observed a broken lamp on a nightstand and what appeared to be shards of broken glass on the floor while escorting him to his bedroom to get clothing. When Boston police asked his wife whether or not he attempted to strangle her, she stated that he did not. According to the Boston District Attorney Office, who decided to press charges in this case, then there's this part. Sources also said that Lucic's children were hosting a sleepover at their downtown condo that night with friends over. According to the police report, the argument allegedly began over a missing cell phone. Operations relayed to the responding officers that the reporting party victim called and stated that her husband attempted to choke her. The victim stated that her husband could not locate his cell phone when returning to their apartment after a night out. She stated the suspect began yelling at her, demanding his phone, believing she had hidden it. Yeah. And there were other details from Tiffany Chan at WBZ, who you can find on Twitter. So the thing to say about this, because like I said, I didn't know if the details were worth sharing, but in this instance, I feel like they were. I'm not sure. This is not the first incident involving Milan Lucic and his wife. From Boston.com, September 7th, 2011, there is this. It was all a big misunderstanding. That's the word for Milan Lucic's girlfriend at the time, after police responded to a report of a fracas involving the Bruins forward and his girlfriend. Lucic was not charged, but witnesses told police that they saw the 6'4", 220-pound hockey player standing over his girlfriend as she laid on the sidewalk.
Jesus.
Several witnesses smoking cigarettes outside a nearby bar stated that they saw Lucic yelling at his crying girlfriend and at one point heard, quote, what sounded like a loud slap, but they did not see him hit anyone. One witness stated that they saw Lucic holding her purse in one hand and one of the shoes in the other, and then watched as he threw both items at her while she was on the ground. A few minutes later, when officers arrived at Lucic's apartment, he was highly intoxicated and hostile. Essentially, he stated to the officers, we had an argument, we're fine, why are you at my house? When questioned further about the altercation, the report says he slammed his cell phone on the ground and yelled, do you know who I am? Again, this took place in 2011. His girlfriend, then wife, who was also involved in the separate incident at the time, defended him on social media. But there have been a lot of people who have brought this up over the years in regards to Milan Lucic, and unfortunately for him, he's lost all benefit of the doubt at this point. This will be one incident is too many. Two incidents, even 12 years apart, you have fucked up your reputation. And beyond that, you may have ruined your own goddamn family. Which is as a Bruins fan, it's tough to see because so much of Lucic's return has been built around his wife and specifically his children. That's been a big thing that they sold, and that he said was, yeah, a big part of this was when I was in Boston last time, my children weren't really old enough to kind of enjoy seeing me play here and seeing what it's all about, and now they get to. And dude, we're just over a month into the season, and now your career as a Bruin is probably done. You will be extremely fucking lucky if you don't go to jail for this, which he probably fucking should if it turns out that this is indeed what happened. And hopefully the fucking guy gets some help, because it's very clear, one, that fucking guy needs help. Two, even if you are in that situation of you're a person that needs help, it also doesn't excuse you from your actions. I don't know too much else that I can really say about this. You know, there is the idea in this country, and a lot of people don't like the whole concept, but innocent until proven guilty. There's a chance no charges will be filed beyond whatever else. I mean, who the hell knows how this is going to play out, essentially. But there is that idea of where there's smoke, there's fire. And there is that idea of, again, you don't get the benefit of the doubt when when another incident happens again, essentially. I can't imagine him ever suiting up for the Bruins again. I can't imagine him ever playing in an NHL game again. And like that's the least of the concern at this point. The concern is focused on his family that he may have just irreparably fucking damaged by not being able to fucking control himself after a night out. It's just immensely disappointing. And my initial thought was, what a fucking idiot. And that's what it is. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like if I don't talk about this in some way, that there could be some detractors who are like, oh, Bruin did a bad thing and you're not going to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it because it's fucking shit and it's depressing. And all I can leave it at is I hope that his family is getting the support that they fucking need right now from an awful incident, that more so than being a professional hockey player, a Stanley Cup champion, whatever else, like, man, you fucking blew it. Like, everything that you fucking worked for, that put you, your whole public image being in the spot, like, that shit's done. Like, you're 35 years old. You're at the tail end of your career anyway. And you pull this shit? Good luck coming back from it. Probably doesn't even deserve to come back from it. Let's be honest. So, Endo, I won't put you on the spot in regards to having any comments for this. It was nice to go a week last week without having to fucking read shit like this, but
I mean, like, that's hockey. I mean, not that this stuff is hockey, but there's stuff happening that we have talked about in the world of hockey. It's not that everything has to be talked about, but it's that when someone does something, especially a notable player, or something happens in hockey, we have to talk about it. And it's disgusting, that someone has, I guess now, a history of stuff like this happening. And it's unfortunate because Milan Lucic probably is a really nice individual and he treats fans with respect, but at the same time, like, shit like this ruins it for you. I also think,
sorry, but it's like you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt, right? It's like, okay, well, here's like the Milan Lucic that we know publicly. It doesn't, like, that's gone. Like, because this idea of like, oh, that's how you act privately, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, that's what people are going to view it as now.
Yeah, pretty much that. I think I don't want to think about this, man, but like at the same time, it's there's not much you can do for a person. I hope that he doesn't have anything wrong with him that's causing this stuff to happen. If he does, gets help for it.
That's another aspect, right?
There's not much you can say like that's the thing about stuff like this. There's not much you can say that hasn't already been said.
Right. And you don't want to come off as insensitive by not talking about it, or you don't want it to feel like you don't think it's important enough to discuss.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's depressing as shit to talk about, whether or not it's something like this or any of the other kind of negative stories that we've had to talk about on the show over the past 2 years. Like, I've been doing this podcast for over 3 years now. It's like, I still don't know how to handle situations like this, because you don't want to come off as insensitive by not talking about it. But it's certainly not fun to talk about. But like you said, it's a part of hockey. It isn't all sunshine and rainbows all the time, and yay fun sports stuff, as much as we wish it was.
Yeah. There's one thing I want to leave on this. I think he's kind of done in the NHL. I think after this, even if he's like allowed to play again, I don't think he does. Any sort of like farewell kind of tour or something you could do, like, one last year in Boston, right the ship kind of thing. No, that's done. That ship has sailed. Mm-hmm. I think there's also more eyes on this stuff, especially considering Boston's terrible, I'll keep talking about their terrible signing of Mitchell Miller. I think there's definitely more eyes on this franchise than before. Yeah. And maybe if that thing didn't happen, maybe Boston could do a thing where they let him back in, even if their charges are dropped. But I feel like with all the scrutiny behind everything and the stigma on him now, because this is a repeated event over 10 years. And the alleged severity of this is something else. Do I hate Milan Lucic as a hockey player? Yeah, he's the kind of guy you want on your team, but on the hockey, on an on-ice aspect. Off ice, from the sounds of everything right now, I would not want to do that, especially in an environment where you're growing talent. Like, to bring him in as a mentor for younger players, would not do it. Would not do it.
His reputation, whatever was there, it's gone. Like, that's the only way to put it. It's just gone.
But we all know the NHL might give players like that a chance.
Well, again, the problem for him is it should be, if at all, a super long road back to any sort of redemption. That by the time that even happens, might be too late anyway for him to be an effective player, So, who's to say? Yeah. Hey, fun to end of the show, right? Yeah, but this is why we save these topics for the fucking end of the show, so it doesn't bring down the goddamn mood for the whole damn thing. Endo, this was fun. I don't think Sin agrees. I think Sin's probably still pretty mad.
Yeah. I think Sin's also glad he didn't get to talk about this too, kind of a dampener. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey. It be what it is. It do what it be. We will be back later on this week. It won't be Thursday because American Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
except
happy Thanksgiving.
Had it a month ago.
Be thankful for the things that you have. I said this last year. Be thankful for the things that you have, so you can run down to fucking Target, Walgreens, what other stuff you got over there? Fucking Walmart, any other superstore, and then fight some bitch for that fucking air fryer that you'll use 3 collective times and try to return maybe like 6 months later with a receipt in line and trying to negotiate yourself a way to get your money back. God bless. God bless America. God bless our troops. And gentlemen, start your engines.
God, we'll see you all later on this week. Endurance M everywhere. Tougie24, Sim for the win prod. We love you. And yeah, enjoy your Thursday one way or another. Watch some football.
Season your turkey. God damn it. Fucking.
Don't deep fry your turkey. You're gonna set your fucking house on fire. If you're gonna do it, know what you're doing and do it wisely. We don't need your house burning down in a house fire. Love you. God bless.
God bless America.